Previously on Funny Science Fiction.
A 3 of laughter to like a 9.5 of tension. So I'm like, I look down at my console and I say, Captain, hull breach on deck 1.
Hi, this is Isaac C. Singleton Jr., and you are listening to the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
The podcast where Garth Maul is a country singer and Darth Brooks is a Sith assassin. All right, so our guest today is a distinguished voice actor and an actor that you've seen in movies and TV shows like Pirates of the Caribbean, Deadpool, Galaxy Quest, one of my favorite TV shows, Community, and X-Files. And you've heard him in the animated series Guardians of the Galaxy as Thanos, also in Marvel video games as Thanos, and Transformers games as Soundwave. Not to mention StarCraft 2, World of Warcraft, Lord of the Rings. I could keep going, but honestly, the list is very long and I would lose my voice about halfway through. But because of all that, we are so happy and proud to welcome Isaac Singleton Jr. to the Funny Science Fiction Podcast. Welcome to the show, Isaac.
Well, thank you for the welcome. I'm happy to be here.
We are very excited.
Yeah. It was one of those things, I go through people, I was going through different shows and looking at different things and I saw your name and I was like, for whatever reason, it sounded familiar to me. And I think it's because of the Deadpool tie-in. I'm a big fan of the Deadpool movies. Mm-hmm. And so I went and I clicked on your name and I was like, oh, we got to get this guy on the show.
When you told me the name and I'm like, I know that name. Why do I know that name? And I Googled you and I saw your picture pop up and I'm like, oh, because he was in Pirates of the Caribbean. That's why I know him.
See, there you go.
And then I got to your IMDb list and did the and that and that and that and that and oh my word, that is an impressive list.
It is.
I'm just humble and thankful. That's all I can say.
That's a good place to be. Mm-hmm. So what's kind of become customary here on our show, before we get into anything nerdy, because that's what we do here, all nerdy, no dirty, we like to talk to people about how they got to the point of being where they're at. So we love origin stories because we're nerds. We talk a lot of sci-fi. We talk a lot of superheroes and things like that. So we want to know the story of the person sitting virtually across the table from us. So in your case, Isaac, what was it that helped you realize that you wanted to have a career in performing arts?
Man, I get to ask this question because it goes back a long way, and you don't have a whole hour to listen to this story, but the bottom line is,
you'd be surprised.
The bottom line is God told me. I went to college to be a commodities broker. God told me my sophomore year of college I was supposed to be an actor. And I said, okay, God, I'll listen to you. And I transferred to universities, changed my major, and that's what I've been doing ever since. That's how it happened, really, seriously.
Okay.
That's the short version.
That's the short version. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's add this question on to the base question then. Mm-hmm. What were some of your influences then that helped shape who you wanted to be as an actor and a voice actor?
All right. Well, it's funny. I didn't have any set influences. Like I didn't say, oh, I want to be like that guy or that guy, because I knew that early on. I knew your career is going to be your career and your career is not going to be someone else's career, in other words. So if you're an actor and you want to be an actor, don't go out there trying to imitate somebody else. You got to make your own lane and do your own thing and just be smart about it. So my thing was to study. I always made voices and funny things like that. Since I was a child, I never thought I was going to be an actor. I just was doing that for the fun of it because I always like to do accents and voices and stuff like that, just for entertainment. And who knew I was going to be paid to do that one day? I just was doing it for the fun, But the bottom line for me is always about being trained correctly to make sure that I can deliver what I need to deliver when I get on the set or whenever I get on into the mic, whenever I'm there, so they know that the actor they hired is here to act and give them the job they hired me for. So I think it's all about training. And then I set goals for myself, truly. But, when you're in an industry where somebody else is deciding whether or not you get the job or not, your goals can fall short sometimes. You might have a job you really wanted to get, but sometimes you might think you didn't get a job and you got that job. So you never know what's going to happen. It's great. It's almost like reaching your hand into a bag in Halloween and pulling out some kind of prize. You never know what you can get sometimes. So it's good. It's great.
All right.
I like that though. That is that, like, you're reaching in for something. You're gonna get some sort of treat. You just don't know which one. Like,
yeah. So sometimes you don't get the treat at all. It might be a gag gift, and sometimes you get a great treat. So that's how it's happened. So I've had a lot of great treats pulled out of that bag. That's all I can say. I've had
really
a lot
have.
of blessings. Yeah,
You really have.
I'm not complaining about anything, but I still got more goals I'm trying to achieve, and I keep going after it because I love it. It's so much fun to do it. That's the bottom line for me. Fun and the money. That's why I do it. For the fun and the money, and I want to make the fans happy. That's what I do it for.
Awesome.
That all makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So I was looking through your IMDb and was surprised when I looked at one of your first film roles was that of Saris's guard in perhaps one of the best Star Trek films of all time, Galaxy Quest. Because obviously it's a Star Trek film.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But given that remarkable cast and it being one of your first film roles, were there any moments where you looked around from under your makeup and were starstruck by who you got to work with?
No, I haven't had that because I'd already been working with some people before that movie, even when I was in Florida working with people who were already quote unquote stars. So, when I decided I was going to be an actor, when I feel like God said, Isaac, this is what you're going to do, I just said, okay, well, that's where I'm supposed to be then. Mm-hmm. And I've worked with some great actors. Like one of the best actors I've ever worked with was Anthony Hopkins. And I did a movie called Instinct with him back in Jamaica before I even moved to California.
Yeah.
We were in the jungles of Ocho Rios. And, I was doing stunts on that movie, but, he beat me to death with a stick in that movie. Yes, but I remember talking to him between scenes. I remember I just would leave people alone. I'm not a guy who's like all up under my, hey, what are you telling? Tell me about your life. And how do I make it as an actor? I was never that guy. So I remember one time we were shooting in the jungles of Ocho Rios. I'm just standing off by myself, because I'm kind of a solitude guy in a way. Mm-hmm. Anthony was sitting in his chair. He said, hey, Isaac, come sit over here. So I sat down next to him and we just started having a great conversation. I hadn't moved to LA yet. He started telling me about some things I should look out for when I got here. And then I also was like, well, what were some of your inspirations when you were growing? He was telling me about James Cagney and all these different things. So it was just two men talking. It wasn't like, oh, please teach me something. It was just like two guys just talking about life and the things they've done. That's really much what it was. It was great.
That's awesome.
That's a cool story, though. I mean, there's not many people in life who get to say that they sat down on us and just to talk with Anthony Hopkins, much less on a movie set with Anthony Hopkins.
Much less got beaten to death with a stick by Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the cherry on top. I mean, that's always part of it. But yeah, that's a really cool story. And I like the fact that your approach to it, it wasn't that you were, starstruck. It wasn't that you were star chasing. That you were just there to do your job and you just ended up having a conversation. I think that I like the genuineness of it, that's just how it happened.
Now at this stage of my career, I've worked with quite a few A-list actors, as you'd say, the A-list is concerned. And it's always the same interaction for me. It's always just like, we're here to do our job. We're getting along. We do our scenes, they yell cut, and we do what we got to do. That's just the job of it. It's great. So it's not like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm on this set with such and such. In the back of your mind, you're like, wow, I get to work with such and such. But it's not like, oh my goodness, I can't believe where I am. And, I'm not, that's just not me. I'm very chill. I'm a chill guy. And I look at it like I belong here. They hired me. I'm supposed to do the job. And that's why I'm here.
Right.
It's not a cockiness attitude either. It's just like,
right.
They all started where I was too. They've just worked their way up the ladder and they're the A-listers. That's how it is.
I wish I had that confidence though, because I would be the person in the background going, that's right. But also there's no way I should be here. They're going to find out I shouldn't be here.
Oh, you feel that way? Really?
Yeah.
Know.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely get to the, oh boy, I am in over my head.
I think that would wear off after a while, though. You might feel that way. I think
so.
on the first one or two, but I think that after, you've done this for a little bit, and clearly Isaac's done this for a while, and you're right. I don't take it as cockiness at all. I take it as confidence, and there's a grand and stark difference between cocky and confident.
I think it's even a very humble attitude that you're not absorbed in yourself with well, I deserve to be here. You're just I'm here because this is my job.
Yeah.
And and I have to be honest, I always come from a place of thankfulness. I'm always thankful to get the next role because I know there's a lot of people vying for that role. I know that. And I'm very thankful that they pick me. I'm thankful I go in and do a job they really want. And especially when you're doing voiceover, it's so much fun to be in the to be in the booth doing the voiceover. A lot of times you're in there alone. We're doing Guardians of the Galaxy and Adventures Assemble, the Marvel cartoons. Now, all of us are in the room together reading the script out loud together at the same time. But when I'm doing my video games, I'm alone most of the time, and all I can see through the window or the glass is the director, the producers, and the engineer.
Right.
And we stop, and they'll evaluate the line. But I love it when I'm doing the lines. I can see them over there going, "Oh my God, yes!" They're wanting, and I'm surprising them with even more than they were expecting, and that makes me feel good. But also, they're getting some good work in there. I love it.
That's cool.
That would be cool.
It is fun.
Yeah, we've had some pretty interesting conversations with other voiceover actors, and we've kind of, I don't want to say that that's where we've hung our hat on a lot of our interviews, but we've talked with a lot of voice actors because, and I've said this before, you guys are just cool, and the way that you guys go about your work and how it's done and everything else, and it's also led to some really interesting conversations with people about the specific jobs and how they're doing them and why they're doing them, and I think one of the most interesting aspects to me is that line of separation there between the video game world and the animated world, where many times in animation you guys may actually be together and in the same area and doing the work together, but most of the times like you said, in video games, from everything I've heard, and I'm not a voice actor, so I'm going by with what you guys tell me, is that you guys are doing those things by yourself. Is it harder for you to prep for one over the other because of not having the ability to see the reactions from your co-stars and be able to know what what to put into the line?
No, okay. When it comes to the cartoons, I get the script beforehand. I read it over a few times, so I know my character. And I mean, I have to be honest, Thanos is one of my favorite characters of voice because it's just a delicious character. I mean, he's got so many different layers, and and people are like, he's the bad guy. And I was like, is he the bad guy though, really? He just wants the best for the universe. If that means half the individuals have to go, that's more for everybody else, is what he's saying. Different things like so I can rationalize the character through Thanos's mind and get into that character. And it's so much fun because he gets to say the fun stuff the good guys can't say.
Right. He gets to say what everybody else is actually thinking.
I mean, like, I remember there's a couple of favorite lines of mine, but like one of my lines, he's attacking New York City. And the line is something along the lines of like, "You Earthlings are very annoying, but the sounds of your screams and confusion do amuse me. You may continue those." That makes me laugh even as I was saying it. It was so good because he's like, "I'm blowing you up, sure, but your screams, they make me happy. Keep screaming. I like it. I like that,
Yeah. And I can see where Thanos has a point. He's not entirely wrong. His methods may be wrong.
Yeah, maybe, but it wasn't a painful death when you get disappeared. You just disappear. It's all right. You know what I mean? It's not like your agony.
And honestly, after looking at the internet and looking at what humanity is like, he's got a point.
There are some days I have sat there snapping my fingers and nothing's happened, and I've imagined it.
You need an infinity gauntlet.
Exactly. I just look like I'm trying to sing a song, so.
But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, the preparation is very different for both because when I go and do a cartoon, I've read the script a few times. I know what my character is going to do, and we know the lines. I know the lines pretty much, even though I'm going to stand there and read them out loud and reading them. But when I go do a video game, I have no idea what the character is going to say at all. I don't know what he's going to say at all. They have the lines already queued up, and we just go block by block. I know what my intention is because they tell me what's going on in the scene, and I read the lines via the intention. So that's how we do it there. And I just have no idea what line's going to come up. I don't even know how many lines I'm going to read that day when I walk into there to do a video game voiceover.
See, that's always been interesting to me, talking to other voice actors about how you do this with video games, that they just tell you, so this is what the conversation is. Here's your line. It's like, but you get like that much context to what you're supposed to be saying.
Yeah, and that comes back into what I was talking about, the training aspect of
Mhm.
earlier. When you become an actor, you learn the who, what, when, where, and why. So then that way, whenever someone tells you what's going on in the scene, all right, you know the who, what, when, where, and why, because you know what your characters already is.
Mhm.
And then you know why and who and what's going on. And thus, you know, they tell you what's going on as far as emotion is concerned, and that's what you got to portray right then and there. You know,
All right.
that's why it goes back to that training again. You got to be you got to train. I mean, some people, I've had conversation with people who don't act at all. Like, oh, acting's easy. And I'm like, oh, it is. Have you acted before? Oh, no, I've never acted, but I see it on TV all the time. This guy's, I'm like, and I just kind of nod my head and said, okay, well, you know. But the bottom line is it looks easy because these people are trained to make it look like it's easy and make it look like they're just having a normal conversation.
Right.
Right.
Because you've seen bad acting, you know, but that's opinion based. Somebody might watch a performance and think, oh my gosh, that was the best thing ever. Person next to him be like, that was the worst acting I've ever seen. So that's another thing about acting is it's so great because some people love what you did and other people are like, it's all right. You're both right.
Yeah.
Because it's your opinion.
It's subjective for sure.
It's because it is art, and art is subjective.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. So you brought up Thanos, so I'm going to lead it. That leads me kind of into my next question, or I brought up Thanos, or you brought up that. Somebody brought up Thanos. Anyway, since we mentioned Thanos,
It's
here
Thanos.
we are.
He
Now,
just
who
Thanos. We're
are
just
those people we keep talking about again? What's this? Huh?
exactly that one guy, you know, the snappy finger dude.
Okay.
Yeah, that guy. So from what I understand, and from what I could tell, it looks like that even before Thanos made his first MCU appearance, you were already voicing Thanos in Marvel video games for a little bit, as far as timeline order is concerned. So considering that, you know, Josh Brolin had not done any voice acting work, you know, for the green screen and the fitting there of Thanos, up to that point. Where did your inspiration for the beginning of Thanos and his voice and acting come from? Where did you draw from to make him come to life?
All right. So I just looked at him, you know, the picture of him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's supposed to be 9 feet tall, so he's weigh 910 pounds is what I've heard one time on a video game or in one of the Marvel magazines. I looked him up. He's supposed to be like 9 to 10 feet tall. And weighed 900 something pounds. I mean, he's a solid guy, you know, he's not a little
big dude. Yeah.
And I figured, you know, okay, he's going to sound like I would sound if I was 9 feet tall. So it's even going to be deeper than the voice. Like the voice I'm using right now, this is Isaac Singleton Jr. talking to you. But if he's 9 feet tall and weighs 900 something pounds, then he's going to even have a deeper bellowing voice is what I thought inside my head. I said, okay, so, but he's not going to sound all crazed or whatever. He's very calm, cool, and collected because it's almost like his attitude is like, just listen to me. I know what's best for everybody else. Let me lead you. If you die along the way, too bad, but everybody else will live. Let's just do it this way. I'm right. You all are wrong. Just follow me. So I knew he was a megalomaniac. I knew he thought he was right in every aspect of what he did. And I just figured that's the kind of voice he should have. That's what I thought. But for that point, I can say, like, we haven't talked about this yet, but like you said, World of Warcraft, I've done more than 40 voices for them alone. For various things like giants, elves, orcs, fire giants, dragons, all kinds of stuff I've done for them. And they're all different voices for them. And like, I'll go down, they'll invite me down to Irvine. They'll say, okay, Isaac, we got 3 voices you want me to do today. What do you think this thing sounds like? And they'll hold up a piece of picture of something. You know, like, what do you think this thing sounds like? And I'll give them 3 voices right then and there. I say, it could sound like this, that. That's it. That's the voice. Then we go into the booth. We do that voice. I come out. It shows a picture of the next thing. And that's how we do when I've gone down to Blizzard and actually done the stuff there at their place. They'll just show me what they have. And like we know what this creature is and what it does, but we don't exactly know what it sounds like. And that's where my voice comes in. I show them, I give them some voices, and they're like, "Oh, that's it." They'll pick it. We go do the section in that voice. That's how it works.
Excellent.
So it's just so once again, it goes back to the 4th grade Isaac. Guess who's making noises just for the fun of it?
Right. Well, making noises for the fun of it's just the best. My 3-year-old, I have a 3-year-old little girl. She has started using a little lady voice. And it's this
little lady voice?
Yes. She'll walk around the house with this little gravelly little lady voice. And I'm like, where did that come from? And it's hilarious. And I love it. And I love that you've gotten to take your joy of playing and you still get to play. You just get paid to play now.
Yes, it is. It's fun.
So on the subject of your voice, we've already talked about how remarkable that bass tone of your voice is. And a lot of voice actors have musical backgrounds. So outside of acting and voice acting, have you ever done anything musical?
Okay, when I went to American Academy of Dramatic Arts here in California, when I moved here for the summer program, and I had to sing. I don't consider myself a singer, but I had to sing in one of the classes. It was fine. I can carry a tune. And I remember even when in 7th grade, I took a class, in one of my 7th grade classes, we had to sing in that class also. So I remember singing, but I never wanted to pursue singing. It just wasn't my thing. I just didn't want to be a singer.
Right.
But I guess I can hold the note if someone gives me the music and, teach me how to sing the song, I can do that. But I don't consider myself a singer, but I can sing.
Do you do anything other musically? Do you play instruments?
No, I wanted to play the drums. They gave me the trumpet when I was 7th grade, and I was like, well, I want to play the trumpet. So I didn't really take to the trumpet because I wasn't excited about it.
Right.
And then the next year I didn't play in the band at all. I just went out and did other things. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
sounds
fair.
like my son Parker. He got given the trumpet and he did 1 year band and he was just like, yeah, I want to bang and clang on things. And they're like, no, you need to play the trumpet. And he was like, yeah, I think I'm done with band. So
you're going to play drums too then.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, my dad was a drum major in college and in high school. So he played.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to play the drums, so they gave me the trumpet and I was like, oh, well, I played it a little bit, but I never took to it. I don't even remember the notes. I just remember G because I have to press a button. Other than that, I'm not into trumpet,
He actually got pretty good at it, and he went from that, and then we bought him a bass guitar because he figured if he wasn't going to learn how to play the drums, he'd learn how to play guitar, and he wanted to play bass, and he started to get pretty good at that, and then he broke his collarbone twice
with playing bass.
No, being a stupid kid at school, and
we're just crashing out. He breaks his collarbone playing the bass.
That would have been kind of impressive, and that would have been a much more impressive story to tell. But no,
we'll have to compare Nolan's collarbone break story to my brother's.
No, that's Parker's collarbone.
Oh, Parker,
break.
sorry.
That was Parker's.
How many kids do you have?
I have 3.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have 2 boys and a girl. My girl is my youngest.
Okay.
But yeah, my oldest, he's let's see, he's gonna be, oh goodness, he's gonna hear this and know that Dad can't remember. 24 this year.
He's a grown man.
Yeah, he's a grown man. So yeah, he's 24. He's married. He lives on the other side of the state. Not too far from where Kathleen lives now.
But in the middle of the state, not the other side of the state.
No, from what I hear, it's actually on the other side of the state. But and then my middle son still lives at home. He's going to college, and my daughter's in high school.
I see.
But yeah, so my oldest was playing bass and doing really well, and then he found out that you probably shouldn't play football with the football players and play tackle football with the football players on cement.
Not when you're built like Parker.
On cement.
Yeah, he got tackled on some cement. I also have to tell you that my boy's also built like this. He's 6'3" and scrawny, and I got tackled by one of the offensive linemen. Shoulder
that's not good.
Yeah, that's right there. So done. And there was a re-break and something again stupid with football, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah,
talk about origin story. I mean, you want to hear the origin of me as far as my body is concerned, because I was a smaller, skinnier kid growing up. And I remember they were saying I might not make it to 5'10". I'm like, I'm going to be bigger than that. You watch. Anyway, when we moved to Germany, I was going to 11th grade. I was 6 feet tall finally that summer. I was so thankful and happy. I got to be 6 feet tall, but I weighed 145 pounds. That fall, I started playing football. I went to 175 my junior year. And in my senior year, I was 195 and I was 6'4", and I graduated. And then my sophomore year of college, I was 6'5" and I was weighing 220 pounds. And now I live here in California, and I'm definitely not 220 pounds. I weigh 290 something pounds now. Because I just keep working out and keeping in shape. I'm 6'5", but I'm not a little scrawny guy anymore. That's for sure.
No, we kind of gathered that as you got up earlier and went to go get your drink. We are like, that's a big dude. All right. I'm 6'3". My dad is 6'7", so yeah, we've got my son Parker, he's 6'3". Nolan's 6'5".
We're not exactly for a girl.
My wife is tall for, I hate saying tall for a girl, but my wife is 5'9". My daughter's 5'8". We're decently tall over here.
So did your dad play for Michigan or anything?
No. He's one of those guys that looks like he should have played football, but he would have tripped on his own shoelaces somehow.
Just has shoes.
Yeah, no. There's a whole lot of unathleticness there. Great guy. I love him to death, but no.
Your dad's great, and he gives the best hugs.
He's a good dude. I love him to death, but that's a no on the sports.
Okay.
It's one of those hugs though that like you're gone. You can't find.
He is a human billboard. So
he's that big. Okay.
He's big dude. Big dude.
As my 5'8" person, and I get a hug from Rick, and I'm like, can't breathe. Good.
So Isaac, with the number of video games that are now being made into movies and into TV shows, it's been kind of cool because it's allowed fans to see some of their favorite characters be brought to life. It's allowed them to see some of these characters be given a more rounded out story where they get to even see the backstory, the origin story of some of these characters and where they've come from and things like that. So it makes me wonder, with the number of video games that you've portrayed characters in, it makes me wonder if there's one that you would be most interested in seeing brought to a bigger screen.
Well, I'm already seeing Thanos.
Right.
That was great. Let's see, what else would I think of? I mean, they've already done the Batman Arkham stuff, and Kingpin's been shown in different things. I played Kingpin before.
Mm-hmm.
That Vincent D'Onofrio did a good job in the Daredevil series, so that was good. What else can I think of that I want to see? I mean, they did World of Warcraft already. They did a movie for that.
Right.
The orcs were pretty good. They weren't very happy with the movie itself. I understand even the producers weren't very happy with it once it was done. From my understanding, right. I've been told, I don't know. I wasn't in the room, but I enjoyed myself while I watched the movie, but I would have liked to have been in it. Just because I like doing in movies anyway.
Right.
I can't think of anything else that hasn't come out already that I've been in. I mean, they've already brought the Spider-Mans to life too. They've been on screen.
Right.
Yes, I've done a lot of video games that already have turned into movies or TV shows already. So I can't think of anything that I've done that hasn't been turned into something else that I'd want to see as a movie or TV show,
Fair enough. Because I was looking at it even from the aspect of perhaps even shows where there's already been a character out, but it's something that you would have liked, yourself would have liked to have been able to portray. Because I was looking at, Soundwave from Transformers, having the opportunity to voice him for a major motion picture. Or
don't get me wrong, I would have loved to have done Soundwave, but they've already had somebody else to do that, I guess. And then Josh Brolin got Thanos for the films, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny when fans walk up, man, you would have been a great Thanos in the movies. I'm like, well, thank you, but Josh Brolin got that, and more power to him. You know what I mean? It's no sour grapes here whatsoever, because I know, like I said, there's the industry, there's plenty of work to go around. There really is. So it's not like,
absolutely.
So it's great.
Okay. Well, my personal hope is that this isn't video game related or anything along those lines, but I would love to see you come back in something in The Mandalorian. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so anything that's Star Wars related, if we can get you back into one of those, one of those other shows. Yeah, that's exactly true. I would love to be back on that. But Disney, and I mean the Disney universe itself, with Marvel and with Disney and just doing Star Wars stuff. I mean, I would love to keep going back and forth between both those worlds and bring in some live action roles in those. And that's what I'm looking forward to and scrambling towards now.
Awesome.
That'd be awesome.
More of that going.
Yeah.
And hey, for your size, the size of man you are, you know, you could play a Wookiee pretty easily too. So,
Well, I'd be short for a Wookiee though.
well, not really.
They're like 7 feet. You know, I'm 6'5".
Some of them are, you know,
Mm.
but you know, some, you know, I like to think of Wookiees as, you know, multi-size. So, you know, I gotta think there's a couple shorter ones.
Oh,
You know,
like a
you'd be
teenage
you could be the runt of the
teenage
litter.
Wookiee.
It'd be okay.
Oh, the runt.
You know what? I really now, I mean, I've done a lot of shows where I had full prosthetic makeup and been covered up and all that kind of stuff. I really would like to portray an actual humanoid in that world where I'm actually, you see my face and it's me as a human being too.
That'd be awesome.
There's some characters out there that are kind of being written
Mhm.
that I would like to play that are actual humans in that world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both of them, the Mandalorian world and also in the Star Wars world.
That'd be cool.
But don't get me wrong. I mean, playing Trelac was fun also, you know, but at least you saw it was my face.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Understood. Well, yeah, let's get it. Let's get you out there. Hopefully, hey, you throw it out in the universe, something good happens,
you
and
would
you get to.
I think you'd make a fantastic Mandalorian soldier, though.
I could, or you know, I would be a pretty good Jedi also, I believe.
Would be.
There you go.
I mean, I think my voice alone would be very sage and knowing as far as that's concerned.
I see. I was also thinking of you as a bounty hunter. I think you'd be an awesome bounty hunter.
I would definitely do that too.
Because of the physically impressive, but then you also have the voice to where you could make it sound very concerning for the person that you're hunting. It just, you know,
Bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold is a
Oh.
much scarier line.
when it's said in a much deeper voice. Nothing against Pedro. He does a great job, but you know, still just saying.
Yeah. And congrats to him, man. He's a cool guy too.
I don't know that personally, but I will take your word for it, and I would love to find out someday. So Pedro,
Yeah.
if you're listening, welcome to Funny Science Fiction. We'd love to talk. So just saying.
We will talk about the fact
I wanna
that
ask
learned
you
to
a
keep your
question.
helmet on.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm looking at your hat, Ferris State. Now, does that go back to Ferris Bueller's Day Off? What is that?
No, Ferris State University right here in Michigan.
Oh, that's an actual student. Okay, it's a university.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll turn it. I have hat head, so don't just ignore that. But they're the Ferris State Bulldogs.
Okay.
My wife has worked at that university for 15 years now, and my family is real big into hockey. You'll see my Red Wings jersey there. I got my Red Wings shrine up on the wall. But we're real big hockey fans, and we've had, except for the last 2 years because of the pandemic and my daughter's autoimmune, we haven't had our season tickets. But we've had, for 12 years we had season tickets up at Ferris State for the hockey program, and we've gone to every single home game except for the last 2 years.
Okay.
So, but yeah,
because the lettering is like the movie from Ferris Bueller's Day Off in some ways. So I'm like, oh, Ferris State. Okay. I know that in Chicago, but still I was like, okay.
no, fair question. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Ferris State Bulldogs. They've got a great basketball, and they won the national championship. Was it 2 years ago for Division II? Also, this past season won the Division II national, or the not the national, but it's national, but the college football championship for Division II.
Wow. Okay.
And it's been the hockey program's on a bit of a downward slide. I'm kind of hoping we get the coach replaced up there, but you know, crossing my fingers. But he's kind of been phoning it in for the last couple of years. But it is what it is. But
Okay.
About was it 9 years ago, they made it to the national championship game for hockey. They're in hockey though, they play Division I, and so they play all the big boys. They play University of Michigan, Notre Dame, you know, Boston College, all the big guys.
Okay. All right. Then.
So Isaac, we talked about how busy you are, and I did a quick count on IMDb, and it looks like you have 18 projects in various stages of pre and post production, as well as filming, at least according to IMDb. And we know that IMDb is not always accurate.
Yeah, always accurate.
But with everything that you've done, everything that you're working on currently, is there a role that you want so badly but you haven't landed yet? Do you have a dream role somewhere in the back of your mind?
Yeah, I have one that I will not mention because that's one that kind of might be being written. So yeah, I don't want to say that one, but I do want to play a role that's very similar to what Anthony Hopkins played in Silence of the Lambs. I want to play the very smart, cold, calculating, I guess you could say serial killer guy, because, you know, I can be very nice and unassuming looking, but at the same time, behind closed doors or in the night, you don't know what I'm doing. And I want the audience to cringe when they see me, just smile and say, like, oh, good morning. How are you doing today? Welcome into my office. You know, and then, and then later on, you never know what happened to that person. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of character I want to play. I want to play something like that and get away with it in the movie, like Anthony Hopkins did in Silence of the Lambs, where that last line when he was talking to Jodie Foster on the phone, he's like, oh, the world is much more interesting with you in it, Clarice. I won't be coming after you. I've got to go now. I'm going to have a friend for dinner. And it shows that doctor come off the plane on the island he's on.
Right.
And he kind of puts his hat on and kind of follows along. You know that doctor's not going to make it. And it's great. You know what I mean?
That's one
No,
of the,
he was had with some Chianti and fava beans. So
Yeah.
that was, and that is one of those lines that you're like, oh, that's what he meant by having a friend for dinner. Oh boy.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember the first time I watched that, and it was the yikes. Oh boy, I could totally see you as in a role like that, though. That would be.
I can too, and that's why it's one of my dream roles. I'm such a nice guy in the real world, so nice and friendly. But I can play a good villain, I believe, and I can play a smart one, not a brutish, crazed, Leatherface type guy who's just like cutting up people. And I want to be the nice, you don't know what I'm going to do kind of guy.
I dig it.
I'm very friendly. Don't worry about anything. Come on in. You have nothing to worry about.
I think that'd be a fun watch, personally.
I think so.
I'm mashing up like Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lamb and Dexter and Jigsaw.
Jigsaw. You threw some jigsaw in there.
Well, just for the fun of it.
Not for the makeup and everything, but just for the
but for the puzzles. For the puzzles and the
puzzles, yes.
The trapping people and oof.
All that stuff.
I've got chills. I'm okay. That would be so cool.
All right, so Isaac, our Facebook group, as we mentioned at the outset here in the pre-show, has over 200,000 members. I think we're at 202,000 members right now, and it's always growing. Our group site is filled and full of memes. It's combining this universe with that universe and so on. So we have another co-host. He wasn't able to make it today. His name is Nick, but this is a question that Nick likes to ask of people who have a lot of characters. So here's Nick's question. What two characters that you have portrayed would you like to see join forces to either take over the world or stop it from happening?
Sorry to have. I keep thinking about Thanos again. I mean, I would love to see Thanos, but he takes over in the good way. I think he's in a very friendly, nice Thanos who's like, oh, okay, I know I've got this power. I'll use it for good. Why does everybody have to die? Maybe everybody can stay and I can use my powers and make things even better for everybody. And I would like to see him coupled with a Darth Vader, because I've done Darth Vader's voice before too. So those two together. But you know, Darth Vader, after he realizes that he's been duped by the Emperor and he's thrown him down into the Death Star, and he's realized that, you know, I did this for love, but Padme's not coming back. And, you know, he does it to join forces and make the world a better place.
That's actually a really cool pairing. I'm just more disappointed in myself and my research for not realizing that somewhere that you had done Darth Vader's voice, and now where did you do Darth Vader's voice?
I've done it for live shows.
Okay.
And also, like, I've done it for other like games that weren't like super gigantic games, but I've done it. Yeah.
Okay. I just, as soon as you said Darth Vader, because I've done his voice, my mind went just kind of, anyway, I'm okay. So yeah.
Oh, too easy.
I was just gonna say, would you mind doing a little bit of his voice? Would that be okay?
I don't mind at all. Your thoughts betray you, my son, for a sister. So you have a twin sister.
I'm okay.
Your thoughts betray her now too. And if
Oh
you
my
won't
God, that's
just
good.
join the dark side, perhaps she will.
Holy cow, that's good.
Just yeah. Tim's
I'm okay.
Tim's just
I'm
gonna
a-
bounce and giggle over there for a little bit.
I'm a I'm a
That's an
massive
actor I
Star
met.
Wars fan. So
That's an
Yeah.
actor I met when I was in college. James Earl Jones came down to my university, University of Central Florida, did a speech, and we did a little talk afterwards. It was great to meet him in person. And the first thing he said to me was like, "You could play Jack Johnson." That's what he said to me. And then what happens when I moved out of California, I went to American Academy of Dramatic Arts. I had to play Jack Johnson in one of my scenes. I was like, James was right. Well, you know, Jack Johnson was one of the first roles he played in The Great White Hope, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
that is a cool story. I actually kind of think that's a cooler story than your Anthony Hopkins story. Just because I know
it's James Earl Jones.
Well, yeah, but you know, it's James Earl Jones. I mean,
Yeah, he's something else, isn't he? What is he? He's 90. Is he 90?
He's got to be pushing 90. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Anthony Hopkins is cool. Don't get me wrong, but James Earl Jones. I mean, anytime that man talks, he could sit down and read the phone book to me. I know that a lot of kids don't know what a phone book is, but it's what we had before Google. And he could sit down and just read that to me, and I'd be like, yes, I'll listen. Continue on.
Yeah.
So
91.
91 years old.
91.
Wow.
Oh,
Were you all fans of The Big Bang Theory?
yes.
Oh yeah. I loved him on that.
When he was on that, yeah, that was great.
Them pranking Carrie Fisher is fantastic.
Man, that was good stuff. Mm-hmm.
Isaac, I have one final question for you. And we've talked about it a little bit. We've touched on it. But I'm a big believer in passing on information to the next generation, whether it's teaching my daughter things or helping my friends go through things that I've already experienced. Knowledge is meant to be passed on. So what is your one piece of advice that you would pass on to new and aspiring actors that you found invaluable to your career?
All right. First of all, I would say, don't take anything for granted. Definitely study your craft so you'll be ready when you're on set. And once you get on set, you're professional. So just don't get in the way. You know your stuff. Be a good human being while on set. Don't try to be, I'm a superstar kind of person where you like, oh, I'm not coming out of my trailer until the director comes and approaches me and tells me that I'm the best thing ever, or I'm the best thing since sliced bread, or any kind of attitude where it slows the production down, because that doesn't help anybody. Definitely doesn't help your career or your reputation. So don't be that kind of person. So be a quality, cool person on set. Be helpful with your other actors. Maybe they are having something break as far as their lines are concerned. Help them out with that kind of thing. Be a good citizen, I think, is what the bottom line I would say when it comes to being on set. And, just know your craft and know what to do. And then always, if someone asks and you have an opinion about something that might make the scene even better, they ask, give it to them and see if they like it. They might use it, But yeah, just be a solid human being, almost like what you learn in kindergarten. Just treat people with respect and dignity and be nice. And the work will go fine.
Very good. Solid.
That's just solid advice for life. In general.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it works. I mean, that kindergarten lesson works in life. It really does.
It does. It really, really does.
But people forget it for some reason when they get older.
Yeah.
And some people really don't live by it anymore.
No.
Yeah.
This
Amazing
doesn't
how many. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
It just doesn't make it a great world to live in when someone. There could be 100 of you in a room, but this one person can have an attitude or do something that disrupts the whole environment just because there's one person who forgot the decency of being a human being and being true and nice to everybody.
Yeah.
It affects everybody. One person can affect that many.
Spot on. Absolutely spot on. All right. So, Isaac, we're at a point in our show where we like to take our guests through a little quiz.
Okay, then.
All right. So the name of this quiz is called Name That Release Year. Now, this is based on what IMDb has told us. So we've already mentioned that IMDb is not infallible. So
Mhm.
what this is, I love the look of doubt. He's like, here we go. All right, so it's 4 questions.
All right.
Okay.
Then.
Each of the questions is multiple choice.
All right.
All right. Now, if you get 3 out of the 4 questions correct, we'd like to send you this book called Custodians of the Cosmos. It was written by our group page founder. His name is Drayton Allen, and this book is written about someone who wanted to join something kind of like Starfleet, but not Starfleet for legal and litigious reasons. So not quite like Starfleet, where he washed out, rejoined as a custodian to boldly clean up after those who boldly just went.
Okay.
So if you get 3 out of the 4, we'd like to do that. Now, if you get less than 3 answers correct, we told you about how many memes we have in our group. We'd like to take your picture, make a meme out of you, and put it into the group. We call it our fun sequence.
We didn't talk about this meme thing. We did. We have talked about this meme thing, but okay.
Well, Jim did mention that there's memes in the group, but he never mentioned that we sometimes make them.
I see.
Well, this was the point where we bring them up. This is when we bring up that we make them sometimes.
Okay.
But if you're agreeable to that, the meme will be in good taste. I promise you that.
Okay then.
All right. So 4 questions. Each of the questions again is in multiple choice. So we're going to give you the name of the project, the name of your character, and 3 possible release years.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Number 1, Transformers: Rise of the Dark Spark as Soundwave. Was that released in 2010, 2009, or 2014?
Gosh, I did more than one Transformer, so geez. All right, 2014.
That is correct.
Very good. All right, question 2. Galaxy Quest as Cyrus's guard. Was that 1994, 1999, or 2004?
That's 1999.
Very good. 2 for 2, my sir.
All right. Question number 3. Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl as Bosun. Was that 2003, 2001, or 2008?
That came out in 2001.
No, that one came out in 2003.
3?
It did.
Oh, we were shooting in 2001. That's what happened. Okay.
All right, so 2 right, 1 wrong, in theory. And then the last one, Deadpool as Booth. Was that 2006, 2011, or 2016?
Let me see what this is. Yeah, 16.
Very good. 2016. All right, so that's 3 correct. We're not making a meme out of you, but we would, in fact, like to send you this book. So after we release everybody else and say goodbye to them, stick around and we'll get some shipping information from you so we can send it to you, okay?
All righty then.
Isaac, thank you so much for being on our show with us today. Where can our listeners go to find out more about what you're doing, what you've got coming up?
All right. Well, I mean, IMDb is there, but if you want to just follow me as an Isaac, it's Isaac Singleton Jr. on Instagram at Isaac Singleton Jr. So ISAAC, then SINGLETON, then Junior. It's got the blue check on it. And it's Instagram. That's my Instagram. That's what I do. That's right. That's where I mainly am.
Okay.
We are definitely going to link that so that they can follow you.
All righty then.
All right. We also want to remind people that subscribing is the single most important thing you can do to ensure that we get more amazing guests like Isaac here today to have these great conversations with and learn fun factoids like he did Darth Vader. I mean, come on, that's really cool. Anyway, so please subscribe to the show. It helps us more than you'll ever really know. And be sure to go to Instagram, follow Isaac, and check out his work as well. Now, however, if you are not happy with the content of our show today, please feel free to lodge a complaint with the head of our complaint department. That, of course, is Thanos, the Mad Titan himself. Will the offended parties be dealt with? Of course they will. But keep in mind that Thanos has a habit of wiping out 50% of all life with the snap of a finger. And there's really no telling which side you'll fall on and which side I'll fall on when he snaps. But if you win, we'll even provide you with a handy dandy I Survived the Snap t-shirt, provided that, of course, we're still here to provide said t-shirt.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Isaac.
You're welcome.
This has been so much fun. Thanks, Isaac. Really appreciate it. That's our show, guys. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Our show is brought to you by our charity sponsor, the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund, which supports the Wish Upon a Teen Foundation that helps out sick kids when they need it most. And just imagine the comfort you'll give Red Shirt crewman number 80. He'll know that when he puts on the red shirt and joins Jack Sparrow to rescue the Black Pearl from the clutches of Davy Jones' locker, that he didn't leave his family destitute and without hope, because the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund has his back, and what's left of his piercings.
And speaking of sponsors and show partners, check out this short video from our good friends over at Level Up Lightsabers. Information about Level Up Lightsabers and their online training sessions can be found in the episode description below.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of Funny Science Fiction, we'd like to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on one of our future episodes, please contact us by means of our Facebook group, Funny Science Fiction. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FunnySci-Fi, or you can go to DraytonAllen.com and click the Contact Me link at the bottom of the page. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed the episode.